Rick and Morty is a show loved by TV critics and teenagers that think that watching it makes them smart alike. Since its premiere in 2013, the show has come a long way, but that may have people scratching their heads wondering, is there a deeper story to this show? To begin this story, we will need to begin by focusing on two individuals named Dan Harmon and Justin Royland. Dan Harmon, born on January 3rd, 1973, and Justin Royland, born on February 21st, 1980, first met each other at Channel 101, which is a non-profit monthly hosted short film festival co-founded by Dan Harmon himself. The two became friends after learning of a common interest within the media and entertainment industry and began working on different projects and shows together for years. Eventually, they decided to create their own show together using characters that they submitted at Channel 101 as a short film pilot parody of Back to the Future from 2006. They named these two characters and put them in a scientific relationship together as partners. You can probably guess what these two characters' names were, and that is how Rick and Morty as a show came to be. The show debuted in 2013 and began with a ridiculously outstanding pilot episode, setting the show aside from any other. It was in the form that they had already been partners off camera, and that one night Rick got incredibly drunk, made a flying car, and nearly destroyed the planet with a neutrino bomb.
I had to make a bomb, Morty. I had to create a bomb.
What? A bomb?
We're gonna drop it down there and just get a whole fresh start.
Which gave us a view on what the duo were like. Morty's parents, Jerry and Beth, then found out that Rick was taking Morty out of school for their adventures together.
Let's go, in and out, 20 minutes adventure.
And nearly removed Rick from Morty's life. However, Morty had dissolved seeds in his ass from an adventure they had prior.
I need you to take these seeds into the bathroom, and I'm gonna need you to put them way up inside your butthole, Morty.
Which gave him temporary superintelligence in order to convince his parents that hanging out with Rick was making him smart. This episode shaped the Rick and Morty we have today. However, to begin the lore, we have to focus on fictional Rick and Morty time. Before Rick and Morty had adventures together while Beth, aka Rick's daughter, was still a child, Morty C-137's original Rick, known as Rick Prime, found Rick trying to leap into interdimensional travel via the portal gun that Rick uses today, and offered him the life of every Rick, hopping from reality to reality doing whatever they wanted.
Imagine doing anything you want, then hopping to a timeline where you never did it. Imagine going anywhere, anytime with nobody able to stop you.
However, Rick, which we will now call Rick C-137 and is the Rick we follow, declined this offer and decided to quit science. He decided to take his wife and daughter to go for ice cream, but Rick Prime dropped a bomb through a portal, killing Rick's wife Diane and his daughter Beth. Rick C-137 then went on to begin fighting the Galactic Federation, a group of evil bugs trying to take over the galaxy. However, he eventually outgrew this after the Battle of Blood Ridge. This was basically the Vietnam War inside Rick and Morty, and in the end, Rick and his team overcame the Federation and won. Rick tried to entice a friend he had made prior named Bird Person to come and join him on his adventures across the galaxy, but Bird Person denied. So Rick set out to find Rick Prime and avenge his wife, however he concluded he needed a partner. In order to get this partner, Rick hopped into a reality where his daughter Beth was not murdered and became an adult. She immediately let him move in, and Rick decided the best sidekick of the family she created would be her naive and anxiety-riddled son, Morty. The reason Rick chose Morty is because of his lack of intelligence. You may think that Rick needed a super smart sidekick, however this isn't the case. The reason Morty is Rick's partner in every reality is because, obviously, Rick has a lot of enemies, and he needs a way of shielding his brainwaves from being tracked. However, as Morty is not that bright, his brainwaves cancel out Rick's genius brainwaves, which creates a pattern of camouflage that nobody can detect.
Best way to hide from an enemy's radar is to stand near someone with complementary brainwaves that make ours invisible. See, when a Rick is with a Morty, the genius waves get canceled out by the, Morty waves.
Rick would then go on a lot of adventures with Morty to benefit himself, but his main goal was to hunt down Rick Prime in order to avenge his original family. Now, we did mention a bit earlier about hopping from reality to reality, and there is an important thing to discuss when it comes to that: the central finite curve. When Rick was still searching for the Rick that killed his family, a legion of Ricks was terrified as Rick eventually resorted to just mass killing other Ricks. But one day, they came to him and expressed that they needed a way to keep the Ricks and Mortys that weren't involved safe and to let them reside in peace. So they built what we know now as the Citadel of Ricks, which purely existed to keep Ricks and Mortys alike safe from the Galactic Federation and, well, C-137 himself. We find out that Rick helped to build the Citadel as him and the Alliance, which is the aforementioned Legion of Ricks, brokered a peace agreement with Rick after realizing what he was capable of, so he practically agreed with the motive to keep them safe. However, he did not expect them to create the Central Finite Curve. The Central Finite Curve is a wall, a barrier of sorts that the Citadel built around Infinity, walling off all the Ricks that aren't the smartest man in the universe from the universes where he is. As we also find out in Season 5, the camouflage technique of Rick and Morty works so well that the Citadel is basically a Morty market.
Morty market, and I'm sure you don't know how far they've gone to help supply meet demand. Sure, Ricks could scour Infinity for naturally occurring grandsons, but why bother? So much work. There aren't infinite versions of our grandfather Morty. He's an infinite smear of one shitty old man, and he's attached to us infinitely through his weakness and our forgiveness. This is why we're with him. This is why we're alive.
The Central Finite Curve separates the realities where Beth and Jerry never had Morty, which is what causes Rick to be less smart. Now, part of the lore I think we should briefly address: the Smith family. Rick, Morty, Summer, Jerry, Beth, and later Space Beth. Space Beth and Beth have some lore behind them because one is a clone. However, no matter how much you dig within the lore, there isn't a way to know which is which. Literally not even Rick knows, as he mind blew himself to forget about how horrible of a father he is. I will explain what mind-blowing is in a moment. Another key detail is that in the family we follow, Rick, Morty, and Jerry are all from different realities. Rick's original reality was the one where his wife died. Jerry's original reality is the family we see in Season 2. And Morty's original reality is the one we see in the episode Rick Pushing #9. Now for the reason they're all not in their original reality. For Rick, we know by now that he opted realities after his family died. Jerry was because in the episode Morty Night Run, he was left at a daycare called the Jerry Buree, and they switched Jerry's with another Rick. And Morty was because in the episode Rick Potion #9, Morty asked Rick to make a love potion so that his crush Jessica would fall in love with him.
You know how you said that, love is a chemical and all that stuff from earlier? Well, I was thinking, could you make some sort of chemical thing happen inside of Jessica's mind? So where she falls in love with me and all that sort of thing? Like maybe make some sort of love potion or something?
However, it was flu season and Jessica had the flu. The potion was piggybacking on the virus, which made it go airborne and make the entire world fall in love with him. Rick tried multiple antidotes, however just fucked up the world and turned everyone to Cronenbergs, except for his original family because the potion didn't work on people related to him. So they went to a reality where Rick had fixed it, however the Rick and Morty from that reality both died.
Alright, Morty, here we are.
Oh my god, Rick! Is that us? We're dead!
So they buried the bodies and took their place. Now let me explain mind-blowing. The concept of mind-blowing is something within the Rick and Morty universe that we discover in Season 3, Episode 8. Basically, Rick has a device that can make anyone forget anything, and whenever he does erase memories, he keeps them in little vials, and in a subterranean lab he has below the house, there are tons of memory vials all erased from Morty. They are sorted by colour. Blue ones are what Morty wanted removed because of mistakes he made. The purple ones are ones he wanted removed because it reminded him of how bad his family is. And the red ones are embarrassing memories that Rick wanted removed. Pretty big drink because I gotta do a really long voice line here. Right, let's take a moment to look away from the show and look at the comics. The first 2 volumes of the comic series star Rick and Morty from an alternate dimension than their TV counterparts, Dimension C-137, in order to remove worries about continuity with the original show and give more free rein to the writers. From the 3rd volume onward, the series switched focus to portraying the off-screen adventures of the Rick and Morty from the television series, with the events of certain episodes from the series being directly referenced, and the events of comic arc A Tale of Two Jerrys being alluded to in the Ricklantis mix-up, a reference to Doofus Jerry. That last name is important, so important that in the script for this video it's underlined. In the episode, Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, we meet Doofus Rick, basically any other Rick, but not as evil and looks a bit weird, which gives him a bad intergalactic reputation.
Jerry, this guy eats poop, right?
Hey, I don't eat poop! You guys are always so mean to me!
However, he still does have portal travel and other tech. Doofus Jerry, who is obviously from the same reality, Earth Dimension J19 Zeta 7, managed to take Doofus Rick's tech and gain some knowledge. Using this, he sets out to take over the world. However, in order to become powerful enough to do so, he needed to get rid of Rick. In order to do so, he asserted his dominance by beating up Rick C-137, and then using a machine rewrites his genetic code to emit a poison that only kills Ricks. Somehow. This caused every Rick from every reality to worship him, and he became officially the most powerful being ever conceived. However, at some point, Doofus Rick tried to escape with Jerry C-137, but prior to Doofus Jerry stealing his portal gun, he made some portal fluid which managed to spill and create a portal, from which a giant worm came and killed Doofus Jerry. Even though he was the most powerful being ever, he clearly was still a Jerry. On the subject of evil characters, we can't forget Evil Morty. We first see Evil Morty in Season 1, Episode 10 when he is using a transmitter under his iconic eye patch to control a Rick into doing his bidding without anyone knowing that it was him. He would later on run for president of the Citadel of Ricks in Season 3, Episode 7, and even though he was a Morty, he won the election due to his convincing speech about the divided reality of the Citadel.
A message from the Ricks and Mortys that believe in this Citadel to the Ricks and Mortys that don't. You're outnumbered!
He then used this position to begin trying to take down the Central Finite Curve. In order to do this, in Season 5, Episode 10, he invited Rick and Morty C-137 for dinner, which during said dinner, he scanned Rick's entire brain to find out how to take down the Central Finite Curve, which he did successfully, while also bringing down portal travel and trapping Rick and Morty in the Citadel, but they were rescued by Space Beth in Season 6, Episode 1.
Wow, great!
Yeah, that's wow.
I almost forgot to mention the downfall of the Galactic Federation, but as I remembered, I'm gonna do that now. So at the end of Season 2, Episode 10, Rick turns himself into the Galactic Federation in order to destroy it from the inside by calling them as Jerry.
Nice, thank you. I'm Jerry Smith, and I love sucking big, sweaty and licking disgusting, furry sacks. Okay.
In Season 3, Episode 1, Rick is clearly in a simulation from the machine named the Brainalyzer, which slowly melts Rick's brain as it collects knowledge and creates a simulation. However, Rick was able to act like he was taking the agent to see a memory, when he somehow completely fabricated it all. The agent thought he was getting Rick's portal gun formula, however it was a virus that let Rick control the Brainalyzer and hop over to the agent's body. He then hopped from body to body, slowly gaining higher and higher access to the galactic government.
I'm gonna go take a shit.
He used this in order to get a currency manager and made the galactic currency worth about as much as a Vietnamese dong, and the galactic government collapsed.
Gentlemen, there's a solution here you're not seeing.
However, Jerry wasn't too happy with that, as he had a high-ranking job within the government, and so he divorced Beth. They did get back together though in Season 3, Episode 10. So, that is the entire lore of Rick and Morty, basically. A lot of minor details that make up one great big story. Thank you for watching, and I did take a decent bit of inspiration for this from my good friend Toasted Cherries. We're totally great friends, by the way. I'm totally not just convincing myself that, because he accepted my Discord friend request and now we DM like 3 times a week, so I'm totally not just telling myself that we're friends. Shut up. But overall, thank you for watching. If you think there's anything I missed, then let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll make a new and improved version of this video someday. But thank you for watching. Maybe if you really enjoyed, you could show a small creator a bit of support with a like and possibly even a subscribe if I'm lucky. But overall, just thank you for watching and have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye.